Alrighty, so I don't think that this math lesson will take us too long because we're kind of going to review what we did last week. We were working on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing decimals. So we're just going to review, do some practice problems. We also are, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but there's this website called Quizzes. It's kind of like a game website. We're going to see if that works at like a distance and see if we can all play the game at the same time. And see if that works. And then there will be a Google form on Google Classroom for you guys to do at the end of the assignment. But shouldn't take us too long to do this part because we have already reviewed how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide decimals. So let's just start with adding. I'm going to make, at least for me, my screen the biggest. But you guys can still see me, right? All good? So let's just start with adding. I'm going to put up a random one, and let's go through what to do. You guys might need to unmute and talk me through it. I can't really see you guys at this point. So let's do 4.5 plus 6.78. Who remembers what step 1 would be for this?
I can't see any of the points.
Better? All right, what would be step 1?
Line up the decimals.
Oh, yeah, guys, I can't see you right now. The way that I have it set up so that when it's recording is that people can see my screen the biggest, so you might have to unmute to talk. So I heard someone say it. We're going to line up our decimals first. So we have 4 and 5/10, 6 and 78/100, and we're adding. What would be step 2?
Add.
Not yet. We need one more thing first.
Add a 0.
Yeah, we got to put our placeholder 0. And then Charles is right. Then we can add. So we have 0 plus 8 is not 0. It's 8. 5 plus 7 is 12. Carrier 1. 1 plus 4 plus 6 is 11. What's my last step?
Bring down the decimal.
Good. Bring down the decimal. So our answer is 11 and 28/100. Okay. You guys remember that? I can't see you very well, but we good with that?
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Cool. Okay. We're going to do 2 practice problems for adding. So I'm going to put it up here. Give you guys maybe 2 minutes to do them. We're going to do one at a time. And then I might call on one of you guys to tell me how you did it, just so you're aware. So I'm going to erase this. Okay. First problem. We have 4 and 800. That was a terrible 8. Okay, so our first problem is 4 and 857 thousandths plus 53/100. Okay. So go ahead and take minute, maybe 2 minutes to do that one. And don't type it in the comments just yet. Let's go over it. So keep your answer to yourself for now, okay? We'll go over it in a minute, Charles. Hang on. So you can check your answer at the end, but we don't need to put all of our answers in the chat this time. All right, is there someone that wants to raise their hand and volunteer to tell us how to do it? All right, I saw Dallin's hand first. So Dallin, go ahead. Tell me how to do it. Walk me through it.
You didn't unmute.
Oh, Dallin, unmute.
I forgot I was on mute.
There we go. Okay.
First, you gotta line up the decimals.
Okay. Okay, did that.
Now you have to add a 0 under the 7,
Good. Your placeholder 0. Then what?
and then you can add.
So 7 plus 0 is 7. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. Carry your 1. 1 plus 4 plus 0 is 5. What's our last step down?
Bring down the decimals.
Good. Bring your decimals straight down. So we get 5 and 387 thousandths. Okay. How'd you guys do? Thumbs up if you did pretty good on that one. Okay. Cool. Awesome. All right. Ready for the next one? We'll do one more adding. Put it back on the big screen. All right. Our next one will be 154 and 6/10 plus 63 and 984 thousandths. That's a little bit crooked, but that's all right. So go ahead and take about a minute, maybe 2 to work on that one. And then keep your answer to yourself. We will go over it after. Alrighty, it looks like a few of you guys are finishing. Jada, which ones can't you see? The 984? I'll write it a little bit lower next time. All right, Charles, I can see you raising your hand, so go ahead and unmute and talk me through this one.
Put the decimals together. Like
Good, we gotta line up our decimals.
Yeah.
Chelsea, help me.
Okay,
And
now what?
zeros. Then put in our zeros.
Good, put in your placeholder zeros. And then what do we do?
Then add.
Good, so 0 plus 4 is 4. 0 plus 8 is 8. 6 plus 9 is 15. Carry your 1.
That's
1
a
plus
9.
4 plus 3 is 8. 5 plus 6 is 11. Carry your 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. What am I missing, Charles?
I thought the 9 was the 7, but the decimal.
All right, that's okay. But now that you know it's a 9, here's our decimal, right? We'll drop your decimal straight down. So you get 218 and 584 thousandths.
I got everything but the 5 wrong. I got a 3 instead of a 5.
Yeah, if you had the wrong number, then that would have been the right answer. But good. How did everybody do on that one? Thumbs up? Down?
Thumbs up.
Looking good, guys. All right. Let's do some subtraction. So when we talk about subtracting decimals, is it any different than adding decimals?
Yeah, you subtract, but you also, it's kind of the same as adding.
Good. Yeah, that one's on the right track. You use the same exact process for subtracting as you do for adding. So you still line up your decimals, subtract like normal, and then drop your decimal straight down. Okay? So I'm just going to give you guys the practice problems this time instead of doing one with you. So let's just start with some subtraction, a practice one. This one's all on you guys. Let me put it on the big screen again. So our first subtraction one will be 16 and 43 hundredths minus 8 and 76 hundredths. Okay, so go ahead and work on that one. Keep your answers to yourself until the end. All right, it looks like some of you guys are done. Anybody want to volunteer to go over this one? Someone that has not done it yet? All right, Maddie, go ahead.
So first you line up the decimals.
Guys, line up our decimals first. Okay, next step.
Then you carry over.
Yeah, we gotta do our subtraction, right? So 3 minus 6, can't do, gotta borrow. So we borrow from our 4, it becomes a 3. The 3, this big 3 becomes a 13. 13 minus 6 is 7. And then again, 3 minus 7, can't do, gotta borrow. 6 becomes a 5. This 3 becomes a 13. 13 minus 7 is 6. Again, 5 minus 8, can't do. Got to borrow from our 1. 1 becomes a 0. And then 5 becomes a 15. 15 minus 8 is 7. And then our last step is what?
To bring down the decimal.
Good. Bring down our decimal. So our answer is 7 and 67 hundredths. Okay. How'd you guys do on that one? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Doing pretty good, guys? All right. This next one's a little bit tricky. I'm going to see how you guys do on it, and then we'll go over it if we get some different answers. Okay? So, our next one. I'll give you a few minutes to work on it. It's going to be 24 minus 19 and 6/10. Okay, 24 has no decimal, so think about where your decimal goes in that so that you can line them up. So take a minute to work on that one. About 30 more seconds. And Charles, I see your hand. I'll let you go over it. Alrighty, I think we're good. Charles, go ahead and unmute and tell us how we do this one. It's a little bit tricky. There's stuff we kind of got to fix here.
So
Line up the
Okay, I
decimals.
would, but 24 doesn't have a decimal.
Put the 24 above
Okay,
the
so
19.
24 goes above the 19, but where? Does it go like this? No? How do I know where the
No.
decimal is?
2 goes above the 1, and the 4 goes above the
Okay, good.
9.
When you're looking at a whole number, your decimal
And
is
then-
always at the end. So that's how we know to line them up. So this is a 24 with a decimal at the end. Then what do I need to add above the 6, Charles?
A 0.
Then what do we do?
Put a cross through the 4 and put a 3 above it, and put a 1 by the 0.
Okay, we have to borrow. So the 4 becomes a 3, the 0 becomes a 1. 10 minus 6 is 4. And then 3 minus 9. Can we do that?
No.
Nope, we gotta borrow again. The 2
Yeah.
becomes a 1, and then the 3 becomes a 13. 13 minus 9 is 4. And then 1 minus 1 is 0, but we don't need to put that 0. What's the last step?
Something is wrong. I keep on turning 9s into 7s.
Do they look like 7s?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, well,
I don't know why I keep on
I don't
doing
know,
that.
but last step though, we gotta drop down our decimal, right?
Mhm.
And our answer is 4 4/10.
That's
What
what
do you
I
guys do on
got.
that one? Good?
That's what I got.
Alrighty. I think we're good on adding and subtracting. Let's go ahead and do some multiplying. So let's do one quick one together before we do the practice so that we remember how to do it. So let's do 6 3/10 times 0.7. So we have our multiplication here. And this one is a 7. Charles, not a 9. 7. Okay. So we need to, when you multiply decimals, you do not have to line the decimals up. This one happens to line up, but that's okay. You don't need to. You just write them out like normal and multiply just like you would with the standard way of multiplying. So you would do 7 times 3, which is 21. So you have your 1, carry your 2. Then you would do 7 times 6, which is 42, plus 2 is 44. And then we could multiply by our 0, 0, 0, and then we'd add. But we technically didn't need to multiply by the 0. It just adds a row of zeros. But we end up with 1, 4, 1. But this isn't my answer. My answer is not 441. We need to make sure we move our decimal. So our decimal always starts at the end, and then we move it the number of numbers that are behind our decimal up here. So we have 2 numbers behind our decimal here. So we need to move it 2 times in our answer. And our answer is 4 41 hundredths. Okay. How do you guys feel about that? Good? Ready to try some on your own?
No.
All right. Let's do it. Our first one for you guys to try on your own. I'm just going to write it out for you. We have 8 21 hundredths times 7 3/10. 8 21 hundredths times 7 3/10. So go ahead and take a minute or two for that multiplication. Count your numbers and move your decimal. Okay, about 30 more seconds. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go over this one. Does anybody want to volunteer to talk me through it? Okay, no one jumped at the chance, so I'll do it this time, but maybe on the next one. All right, so first things first, we need to put them on top of each other. So we're multiplying by 7.3. So we just line it up like there's no decimals. So you don't need to line up your decimals on multiplying. You just put it, like, basically write your numbers without even thinking about the decimal. You just have, just don't line them up. Okay? It'll ruin your answer if you line them up. So we don't line them up. You can get rid of this here. And then we need to multiply. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 8 is 24. And then, because we're multiplying by the second number in, we need to make sure we add a 0 to move everything over a place value. So now we have 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14, carrier 1. And then 7 times 8 is 56 plus 1 is 57. And then we can add our things together, our numbers. So 3 plus 0 is 3. 6 plus 7, 13, carrier 1. 1 plus 4 is 9. 2 plus 7 is 9. And then we have our 5. But we're not completely done yet. We need to figure out where our decimal goes. So it always starts at the end. And then we need to move it 1, 2 numbers, 3 numbers. So there's 3 numbers behind our decimals. So we need to move this place value, or this decimal, 3 place values. 1, 2, 3. And our answer is 59 and 933 thousandths. So, how'd you guys do? Good? Bad. Looking pretty good. Alrighty. Let's do one more. Cool. Next one. Let me make it big again. This time we've got 15 and 9/10 times 5. Okay, 15 and 9/10 times 5. Line this one up for you guys.
Is there any decimal with the 5?
Nope, it's just a whole number.
Okay.
All right, you guys look like you're done. Anybody want to explain this one to me? Okay, Dallas, go ahead.
So you have to multiply the. So you can just multiply now because there's the whole number.
Yeah, we just multiply to start off, right? So
Yep.
we have 9 times 5, which is 45, carrier 4. Then we have 5 times 5, which is 25, plus 4 is 29, carrier 2. And then 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. So
Down.
795?
No, you have to bring down the decimal.
Good. How do I do it? Do I bring it straight down? Do I count? What do I do?
You bring it straight down.
You can on this one, but don't forget that most of the time you're going to have to count, right?
Yep.
So we have one place value that the decimal is, so we just move it one time in our answer. So our answer is 79 and 5/10. Okay? How you guys feel about that one?
Good.
Good? Did all right? Bad? Looking good? All right. Let's move on to dividing. And then for the division ones, because I know it's the hardest of adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, we're just going to do the division ones together. And then on the quizzes, I'll have you guys practice them on your own. It'll tell you if you get them right on the quizzes. Okay? So, we have 2 division ones. Let's start off with our first one. So our first one is 13 and 2/10 divided by 1 and 1/10. Okay, so 13 and 2/10 divided by 1 and 1/10. The first one in your division sentence always goes on the inside. 13 and 2/10. It goes under the house. I call this the house. I don't really know what the actual name for it is. I'll look that up. Maybe I'll tell you guys a different day. And then the number you're dividing by goes on the outside. So we have 13 and 2/10 divided by 1 and 1/10. Now we can't just divide yet. We have to move our decimals first. So if I have a decimal on the outside, I'm going to bounce it to the wall. So bounce it once to the wall, and it's this. If I bounce it once on the outside, you have to bounce it on the inside once as well. So we're going to bounce it once on the inside too. Once you bounce it on the inside, you throw it on the roof, and it just stays there. So now we have a new problem that's 132 divided by 11. And we just divide like normal. Our decimal's already in the place, and now we just do our long division. So 11 goes into 1 0 times, so we don't need to put an answer there. But 11 does go into 13 1 time.
Charles has a question.
Charles, you have a question?
Now I have the answer.
Oh, well, check it with me. It's good. So 11 goes into 13 1 time, and then we subtract our 11 and we get 2. Then we drop down our 2 on this side and we get 22. 11 goes into 22 exactly 2 times. And you subtract and you get 0. Charles, did you get 12 as your answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So once you move your decimal, you just divide like normal, and your decimal's already at the end. So our answer here is 12. Would it still be correct if I put 12 and 0/10? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, it still would be. This added 0.0 doesn't really change your answer at all. It's just there.
You could still add a bunch of more zeros and it'd still be the same answer.
Right, you could add as many zeros as you wanted, and it would still be the number 12. There'd just be a lot of zeros at the end. Okay, let's try another one. One more together. We're going to do 52 divided by 1 and 3/10. This one's a little bit different too, because we don't have a decimal on our 52. So we have our hat. 52 goes on the inside. Where's your decimal on the 52? The beginning or the end? What do you guys think?
And
I heard it. It's at the end, right? And we're dividing it by 1 and 3/10. So again, we got to bounce the ball to the wall. So we take our ball and we bounce it to the wall. We bounced it 1 time. So we need to take the decimal on the inside and bounce it 1 time too. But there's nothing there. What am I supposed to do now?
put a 0.
Good. We got to make sure we add a 0. Okay. Then we took this decimal, bounced it once, and now we throw it on the roof at the end. And now we divide like a normal long division. So 13 does not go into 5, so we put our x there. Does anybody know how many times 13 goes into 52? No? The way that I remember this one the easiest, I know some of you guys probably play cards, right? Like a deck of cards. There's 4 different suits, right? You have the spades, clubs, diamonds, and hearts. There's 4 suits, and each one of them has 13 cards in it, and there's 52 cards total. So 13 times 4 is 52. So it goes in 4 times exactly. Does that make sense? That's how I use it. That's how I love cards. So 4 times 13, oops, is 52. And you subtract and you get 0. Now this is a place where I see a lot of you guys mess up, and you say that your answer is 4. Why is it not 4? Does someone want to? I can't see you guys, so go ahead and like unmute and tell me, why is the answer not 4?
Because of the 0 by the 52, and you didn't bring that one down yet.
Good. We still need to do this 0 at the end. You can't just leave it hanging. It's still there. So you got to drop it down. And now think about, does 13 go into 0? The answer is no. So you still got to make sure you put your 0 up there. So our answer here is 40. Okay? How we feeling on that? Looking good? You guys want to try some quizzes? You probably still need your pencil and paper. Well, you for sure do. Okay? So what we're going to do